So what about the AirOS GUI? Well, there's lots to look at here. We have our monitor summary, we have our management and clean air and wireless all APs. We will take a look at these, all right? But we can look at trap logs, we can look at events, we can look at different things in different areas. This slide doesn't do a lot of justice, so let's go out into the real environment and take a look. Now, first off, look at this management and logs. You see logs right here? Management and logs. I like this one a lot. Here are message logs. You can see I'm having an SNTP fatal error occur. This is for NTP or the clock. Unable to send NTP packets to somebody. So major error going on. I also have our config logs, our syslog configuration. Where is this going to? I can configure where these syslog information is being sent. Very important, not really covered in the guide, but I think it's important. So we're going to spend some time covering it. So you would put the address of your external syslog. Remember, this is important because wireless LAN controller on fire loses the event log. We don't know what happened, or the syslog. If we have a syslog server, we can actually have some accountability as to what's going on. Different configurations for how this syslog is carried out and what level of information we're logging, all located there. Now, what else do we have the ability to do? Let's take a look at our commands. We saw the upload and download. Please remember that for backing things up. Troubleshooting, not so much related to troubleshooting, but definitely helpful when we find the problem is in the iOS or configuration. So what about that overall view they talked about? Let's go back to the dashboard for a second. The dashboard gives me the number of active clients, what gigahertz they're located at, the access points, the wireless networks currently in use. And then we can see some of the clean air information on this side of the screen. We see the total number of rogues, the interferers that are actually on the same wireless, using the same spectrum as we are. You can see there are 4 there. So we can even dive in deeper when I go to advanced and monitor. We see the different rogue summaries. We see the top wireless LANs. We see the most recent traps that have gone, and I can even dive in deeper to view all here into the monitor trap logs. So we can see the different system times and the traps that are being generated. You see a lot of rogue APs in this environment. I don't want to look too closely in that because of my neighbors. But the summary is a great jumping off point into the troubleshooting process. We can see access point summaries, we can see client summaries. So a lot of information there as well. So very, very good monitoring takes place here at our APs. So even in our wireless LAN controllers, excuse me, we can then dive into the wireless tab, which gives us our APs. You can see I have a single AP up right now, the IP address of that AP. But none of that's really as important as this right here towards the end. The admin status of this, the operational status, how is it looking? Our AP uptime, how many days or hours has this been up? The number of clients associated with that AP, the port it's associated to, and the AP mode, what mode it's running in. So very good general information for troubleshooting there. Like to see the operation status regular. If we don't, we know we have an issue. So as we continue, let's talk about the Cisco Active Advisor. Now, the Cisco Active Advisor is a cloud-based application where you log in using your Cisco ID. You're going to need your Cisco ID for this. And like we said, this is cloud-based. There we go. This is a cloud-based, and you will need your Cisco ID that you use to get in with all of your components. Now, I want to read you something for this. Let me make sure I'm on the right page. Give me a second. I'm going to read this to you. Troubleshooter. So you need to log into https ciscoactiveadvisor.com with your Cisco ID. So ciscoactiveadvisor.com is where you need to go to gain access to this particular service. Now, all this service does is it tracks your devices And it tells you how you're doing on inventory and how you're doing with the warranty of those particular devices. So you give them your devices. You add devices for Cisco Active Advisor. You buy an AP, you take the serial number, you input it here at Active Advisor. It'll give you the inventory, the warranty, your contract status, all of that good stuff. It'll also give you any product advisories. If there's any recalls. Cisco recently had a bunch of wireless LAN controllers that went out with the wrong default password. If that happened in your environment and you registered that device with Cisco Active Advisor, you would see product notifications for that wireless LAN controller. And last but not least, a lot of people don't even really pay attention to this anymore, is end of life notifications. A lot of older big backbone routers were end of life due to the size of the memory, wasn't large enough. A lot of people didn't know that actually caused a hiccup in BGP because the tables were getting too large, or BGP tables. But a lot of people didn't know their devices were end of life. If they had used Cisco Active Advisor, they would have known it was end of life and it was time to upgrade their particular device. Last but not least is the wireless LAN controller configuration analyzer. Now, this is a completely separate program that you download and you launch. And what it does is it imports the configuration file from your wireless LAN controller. So if you're looking for this, just go ahead and look, Google configuration analyzer, wireless LAN controller. And what this comes from is Cisco's own TAC, their technical assistance center. Their support team came up with this. And what it does is it analyzes your wireless LAN controller configuration and it goes, oh, let's look for best practices and configuration errors. Now, this is kind of genius because it gives you this option so that their calls to Cisco TAC drop, right? It says, oh, here's this tool. It'll make your life easier. But really, in reality, what they've done is they've had the ability now to lessen the size of their support team because they allow this program to scan or analyze your configuration for best practices and see if there's any configuration errors that you've done that may cause issues. It also does radio frequency analysis to say that if there's enough overlap, if there's a compliance level issue. So really cool little program. Remember, this is a downloadable program that you use offline to look at your wireless LAN controller.